Join us as we unbox, build, and even magnetize the new Knight Defender model for Warhammer 40k.
Spiky bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and in this video, I'm going to unbox, build, and even magnetize the new Knight Defender model for Warhammer 40k. So I asked Magnet Baron to send me one of his existing magnetization kits for this, which isn't going to be quite 100% because this wasn't even out yet, but it gives us a good idea. Obviously, they're going to change it and make it so it has everything inside of it. But that being said, you don't necessarily need their magnetization kit to just buy magnets and magnetize it. And I'm going to talk about that as well, because there's a couple different ways to do it, and you can just kind of figure it out as you go, like we did, years and years and years ago. So there's that. Now, the price of this model is $194, and it's actually going up to $195 on October 6th for the new Games Workshop price increases, which is exactly the same as the Dominus class. I remember paying, I think it was $135 back in 2013 for the first Knight model, which was like the Errant and the Paladin, I believe. And then they came out with the second version of them. I think the Avenger? No, the Crusader, Gallant, Warden, and Errant. And then eventually they came out with Canis Rex. And now we have this kit, which is all of the variants minus Canis Rex plus the Defender. And then you can get the Canis Rex kit directly from Games Workshop, which is all the variants minus the Defender, but with Canis Rex. Confused yet? It's a lot to figure out. And Games Workshop site doesn't exactly help anyone either, because they have everything listed separately. So it's a little weird, but we're gonna hopefully cut through the red tape here and show you all the options and break it all down. And just kind of tell you what we think about it all. So here's the new kit right here in brand new box, all spiffy and upgraded for a 10th edition. And then I've got the existing Questoris Knight magnetization kit from Magnet Baron right here. And in this corner, I have an $8 STL of the upgrade parts for the Defender. And we're gonna see how close that designer got these to this particular kit here, because now this is just my opinion, and it may or may not relate to you, but like I said, I've been building and buying these Knights since 2013, so I have a lot of them. And realistically, all I need is the upgrade bits for this if I even decide to run a Knight Defender, which I might not. So the chances of me even being remotely interested in this kit for another Knight that I don't need because I already have enough Knights, I just need the upgrade parts. And if I could find the upgrade parts for cheap, or even, reasonable, like GW sold the Sprues separately, which we're about to see here, I would just buy that, put those together, paint them, and add them to and magnetize them to my kit. So it's going to be curious to see just how close they got these 3D printed parts, just going by pictures of the Knight Defender, and if they had access to the existing kit. Now, I have a link to these in my review article over on the site of where you can get yours. I think they cost $8, and they obviously print very well. But it remains to be seen if they match up to the actual kit, or if it's going to be too much work to make it worth it. So there's that. Now let's jump into here. Now I got to be honest with you, like this product probably isn't for me. It might be for you, and that's cool. But like I said, it's just not for me because I've already got all these. So you get the old instruction manual there, and as predicted, a little halvesy sprue of the upgrade parts. Now it does look like the new plasma weapon, or no, this one right here is an actual whole assembly, in addition to what already comes on the sprue. And then the rest of the sprues are in here. And we're not gonna really talk about these, to be honest with you, because like I said, I've already done videos on these and showed you how to magnetize them. I think I've got 2 out there, if I recall correctly. So, we're not gonna really talk about that. But let's jump into the instructions and see how the build for the Defender is itself. So I do like the new layout of instructions, because the color coding and then showing the base and all the different sprues and having the sprue numbers line up with the things on the sprue definitely allows you to find the parts on the sprue a lot better. So they've gotten way better at all of that here. And we're only going to talk about the Knight Defender variant in this. And actually this box is called the Knight Questoris. I should probably specify that. It comes with the Knight Defender. All this stuff we've talked about in the past. Now, there is a separate set of instructions if you're using the Magnet Baron Questoris Knight magnetization kit. And one of the first spots, you need to not glue this down because you're going to actually attach it at the hip. And we'll talk about that as we get into it. But just kind of keep in mind, you're kind of going to have to be referencing 2 sets of instructions as you go through and put the kit together using these magnets here. So it can get a little weird, I suppose, but it's nothing as modeled as you're probably not used to there. One of the first differences is it has a different ion shield heraldry on this one right here. So keep an eye out for that. That's the main first big change. And then as we get, it's got a couple of different face plates there. And then as it gets into the weapons, like this is a plasma executor, I believe it's called. That one's interesting. It goes on, I think this is the rapid fire battle cannon mount. So it just has like an extra part and things, and it uses the same actual front piece. Is that right? That is right. As the battle cannon. But it's got these extra little heavy flamer. Actually, I think this is like a phosphor blaster, if I recall correctly. Phosphor combustor or something. I don't think it has like extra stubbers or heavy flamers like the other ones. And then this one is one of those crazy conversion beamers weapons right here. So that's basically all the extra stuff. Now this goes together pretty simple. It's just left, right halves and then the existing battle cannon. This one, however, is a completely new build. They put all these parts in here that are brand new. And then you build up the this conversion beamer thing right here and kind of glue it onto the front. And then they socket in and you turn them, and then you get that guy right there. And then as far as the void shield generator thingamabobber, that goes together. It's only 2 parts, and then it locks into with the little knob, locks into that part right there. But you know, you'd be silly to do that. You definitely want to magnetize that because you might want this variant to be, you know, one of the other ones with like a rocket pod or something like that. So short, sweet, and to the point on the instructions there. Let's take a look at the sprue real quick. And here's the sprue up close. It's got the new Defender void shield bits right here. It's got a new back for, I think it's the conversion beamer itself, and then you actually have to lock that in with this right here. It's got these little nub things on the back right here, and that's where all that goes. And then this is a completely new weapon mount with a shield, with an armored shield, etc. So there isn't really any extra parts on here. I suppose this, well, no, because this is actually not the stubber. This is that phosphor blaster, so that's actually supposed to go on there as well. But fortunately, magnetizing these and the ion shields is a bit of a pain. So the upgrade kit is perfect for that because it's going to come with all the extra little wishbone hooks and mounts and things, which I think is great. Otherwise, you can definitely drill out all those little bits and put a very small, like 1/16 inch magnet in there, and it will definitely hold it because there's not much to that. And if I had to guess, we'll be able to put a magnet inside of that and then somehow attach it straight down or clip off that little nub, and it should attach straight down to the armor plate. If I was a betting man, I would say that's how we're going to do that, but I'm not really sure quite yet till we get it on the table and start cranking through it. So that's all the gotchas I see. Now I wanted to talk about real quick. So here's the upgrade kit. Like I said, this is probably, or the magnetization kit. This is probably going to change because, you know, there's new parts and things like that. And then, like I said, too, if you just wanted to do it yourself with magnets, one of the ways I recommend it is using green stuff, where you basically go in and you stuff the joints, and then you put in the magnets into a top and a bottom. Now you can use just anything to keep your polarity straight. If you do use the magnet kit, you might want to get these magnetizers, which are really great to use and keep your polarity straight. You can use them with this, or you can just kind of keep your magnet stacks straight. But what I wanted to show you was right here, these sections, these upper shoulder pivots, these elbow pivots right here. This is where you want to put your magnets if you're not using the magnetization upgrade kit. It's right here. And you just stuff these holes with a little green stuff, push your magnet down into it, put a little petroleum jelly, you know, Vaseline. I think you can even use the CeraVe stuff over top of it. Same here, I would cut that off, cut that little nub off right there that's shaded, and then drill into this with, gosh, I don't even know, I guess that'd be a 1/4 inch magnet, and put your magnet up into that, put a little petroleum jelly on it, and then lock them together. And what it does is the petroleum jelly won't let the magnets stick to each other. Well, more importantly, they're gonna separate. What it won't do is it won't let the green stuff stick to the other green stuff in the little inserts right here. So then you can pull them apart after everything dries, wipe off the petroleum jelly, no big deal. Even if it's on there, I mean, you can get it off. This stuff's easy, and eventually it'll evaporate regardless. You may not be able to prime it the next day. That's the only thing. So once you do that, that'll keep it from touching the green stuff, from sticking to each other. And then your magnetizations will not only be flat, but they'll be perfectly flush, and you'll be able to kind of pull them apart, and you won't have to worry about it. And you just have to double and triple check your polarities. So that's one way to do it too, if you already have existing magnets. I'm not going to tell you how to do your things, but there's more than one way to magnetize a knight these days. But I've grown to prefer these because it comes with some 3D printed extra parts and things that already come pre-drilled, which I find is a pretty good time saver. So that's all I got to say about the kit itself and the different ways and options you can put it together. Now let's actually do it using this kit for the most part. I'm not going to do all of it and show it to you because, like I said, we've already done all the other variants at various times, but I do want to dive in and show you the stuff that's important to this particular kit right here. Okay, so for getting the knight all assembled up, we're going to have the magnets that come in the kit here. And what I like to do is I'll take a little bit of kicker, which, you know, it's pretty easy to get. You can get this anywhere, but instead of spraying it on there, I like to take a little out of the top like this and put it on the magnet stacks, kind of like this, underneath the base, so it doesn't go all over your work table and such. And what that does is that gives us, you know, the ability to get all of that soaked in there. Now, if you go to the Magnet Baron's website, the guide basically explains like what's supposed to be red and what's supposed to be blue, and you can use these little magnicators, which are convenient, but you don't need them, just to kind of keep, you know, because like if you go like this, then you know that that has to be down for it to hook to this one right here. So it kind of lets you place these into things, but also it lets you kind of keep track of your polarity so you don't mess that up. And then I'm just going to take some, this is BSI, the Instacure, I think. I like this, or Maxicure. This stuff's great for resin, plastics, whatever you want to do. So first off, on the instructions, it's like, hey, put the magnet into this particular little nub here for the hip, and then we're going to have to cut it off. And then we're going to put a magnet right on top of here, so that shouldn't hopefully be too hard. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and since we put a little bit of the glue in there, and I'm not going to do this for each part, I just kind of want to show you how to do it for the rest of the parts, and then I'll kind of do it and show you how it's supposed to look, or how easy it is, I suppose. So what's cool about these magnicators is that you put this in here, and at some point the kicker should activate, and then you can spin, you can feel it catch. And if I just used one magnet, and the magnicators here, see it, oh, it almost caught. Well, anyways, you get the idea. If you just put one magnet in there, as soon as it catches, you can spin it on this magnicator and then just pop it off, and it'll stick inside of the part. And one of the other things that I'm going to do each time is grab some of this Vallejo plastic putty, especially in an area like this. It's going to build up the torso around it. We don't want that magnet like popping off or anything later on down the road. So this stuff's great because it hardens to pretty much like a rock strength. I would say it's stronger than glue, but you want to use glue to basically affix your magnets where you want them to be, and then come in with this and supplement that. Also, I'm going to put some in the bottom here, but this now will stay put, depending on, you know, how much you torque it, and even if you accidentally drop it or something, it's probably not going to pop off. Whereas if you dropped your knight, that magnet might pop off there. So we just gotta attach the feet and keep on building. Oh, and I just wanted to say, this is kind of the, I would say this is the hardest part of this kit, and they start out with it, so it's a little kind of discouraging at first, but they're basically like, hey, put the magnet in and then shave this down. And you can do it through a combination of, you know, clipping the parts away and also using your X-Acto knife. But whatever you do, be super careful, because, you know, it's very easy, one, to cut yourself, but also to keep it from not being straight. and you definitely want it to be straight. So, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you got to kind of hold the part and kind of slice with your X-Acto blade, being very careful not to, you know, slice yourself or anything like that. But it's all pretty much smooth sailing from here. So for the Defender shield kit up here, this one's really simple. You can just use the existing magnet. That's going to be red underneath like that, and then blue on top. But what's really cool is there's this little spot right in there for it. That's perfect. You just kind of have to drill that out a little bit for the, I believe it's a about 1/8 inch magnet. And then it just pops right in there, and then you can glue this part right on down, and it's perfect, ready to go for the rest of the pods. So like if you want to put the missile pod or the Icarus guns, you use basically the same magnet, but you put it inside of this. And then there's also options so you can magnetize the front rocket pods. You know, if you really want the 3 different tips, you know, to magnetize those out. I personally didn't care on mine when I did them all. So, but that part right there is super easy. Okay, so the next part is to get the templates and the magnets into the shoulder sockets here, so you can put the rest of the torso together with the steps from earlier with the bottom here. And what's really cool about this is there's some 3D printed parts. This is your basically your measure, your template that's going to actually go in here and tell you where to put this adapter, and your magnet's going to go in this adapter, and these are going to go on the shoulder joints or shoulders for the weapon arms themselves. So, and that way you'll be able to flip the magnet inside of this, and it'll just socket into here. Well, into here when it's on here, but that's what these are. And there's, like I said, there's instructions on Magnet Parent site. You can see how to do all this. So you'll take your template here and put it in this. You have to clip those 2 pieces off, obviously, and then you're gonna know where your socket goes for your magnet. That's gonna go in there. And then where I think this kit or this upgrade kit really shines is that they have these forearm 3D printed parts that you can attach the little piston to. The magnets just plop right in there. They're super easy. And then what this is going to do is it's going to go in here, and then of course you're going to have your 3D printed part here with a magnet in it that's going to socket into here. Actually, this isn't going to fit in here, so you're just not going to be able to put this part on here. So just pull that right off. I just forgot about that. But what's cool is this is going to attach to all the other weapons, and then they have extra pieces too, because, you know, obviously there's like in the Defender kit, I guess it's the new Questoris kit, there's what, 7 different weapons now, or 6, I forget exactly what. I guess I could look at the back of the box, but that is besides the point. So this really, instead of having to drill out and mess with the plastic part, it just, the magnet goes right in there, and then you can just start building the rest of the weapons, which is phenomenal. Now the other cool part to this kit is, besides these extra pieces right here that you're gonna put in here, is these little sockets, which I don't have any out, of course, but these little socket pieces right here, that's going to put your, basically you can put your magnets into them so that you know exactly where they go, and then they insert into the weapon mounts right here, which is great. But sometimes you might have to sand them down just a smidge, just kind of depending, and then you know you want to make sure that you don't get any glue in here either, as much as possible, but sometimes it's kind of unavoided. But generally at the end of the day, now you should be able to just kind of lock it in, and there might be a little gap at the front. That's okay, because this piece is a little bit wider, but it's not that big of a deal. And then these on the new Defender actually lock into the weapons, the new weapons themselves. Now there's gonna be times where you don't basically want to glue this together because it has to go around something else. So just kind of look at the instruction manual there as far as that goes. And I'm trying to think if it doesn't look like there's any extra ones in here. So these, as long as you have one of these, you're able to take all of these parts, I think. But on the Defender, it might be different because now you have these, you need 2 of these dedicated. So this kit might actually come with some sort of 3D printed part in the future, that because these are going to go inside of those parts, but you're going to need extra ones of these for the other, like the battle cannon and stuff like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. It might not be 100%, but just follow the instructions. And, you know, also you want to make sure that the ones that go over things like the fists, those you're going to want to, before you glue these together, you're going to want to make sure that they're attached over the thing that they're supposed to mount onto. Some of the coolest things that I think about this kit is these little inserts that you can pre-magnetize for the shoulder guns right here, which is clutch. And then they also come with ones for the ion shield rotating too. And there's actually an extra bit. So if there's two different shields, like with this one and also the Canis Rex kit, you can magnetize both those shields if you really want to. But I'm gonna glue these in here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you, like, these are super clutch and very flush, super easy to do. And it's this really makes the kit worth it, at least to me. And the other cool thing I like about this kit is the pre-made weapon mount, magnet weapon mount inserts. So like basically they got these pre-arranged magnets, and they obviously work with the Defender now for the other weapon. Oh, and then there's an insert here. So this would be like the battle cannon, rapid fire battle cannon spot here normally. And they actually have a setup for that too, like depending on what, you know, what versions you're making, they have all those bits too that go in there. But for this one, I didn't worry about it because we're just doing the Defender bits, which also ended up, oh, I glued that down. So there's another insert piece right there that's a different size than this one. I didn't have one for this because it's so new, but I'm sure they're gonna make it and it'll be just fine. And I put a little of that plastic putty in there, and this lines up perfect with it too. So you'll be able to swap those out with whatever barrel needs to go in the front there. This is all new right here. So I'm thinking there'll just be an extra bit in there that, you know, you can attach up here, because this basically is all completely new for the Defender kit. So this one is just going to have a couple inserts here in this. That's if you're using the Magnet Baron kit. It's just something to kind of think about. And then this one goes together because this was pretty much the existing one. A little bit of a gap there. I think it dried and I didn't catch it. But the one thing I did want to mention too, and I didn't show it in this, was that there's a whole bunch of options for the head. Like if you have extra heads, you can magnetize all that. It's pre-made setup. I talked about this with the shoulders already. This is that one with the bit that goes on the back of the shield. And there's an extra head bits right there, depending on how many different head swaps you want. And then this actually is for the rocket pod. So if you want the different fronts of the rocket pod, you can have that too. And they're all part of the kit, so you can use it or not use it. Now let's take a look at the 3D printed parts that I was able to get for this and see how they compare. So what I found interesting about the 3D printed bits that I got that were out on the market, like basically as soon as the Defender was revealed, was that they were shockingly accurate, and that people are able to dial it in this much. I mean, this is the plasma, and basically besides a little bit of tolerance right here on this little piece of hose that I haven't adjusted yet, or I haven't magnetized that, but it's going to take like 2 seconds to do. I just forgot on my painted ones what polarity things are, so I want to check that, and they're not in the studio right now. So I'm going to fix that, but I mean, it does literally fit in there 100% perfect, which is, you know, kind of wild, and definitely comes pre-drilled and looks like it belongs for sure. And then also on the new weapon here, well, it's 100% fit match to what just needs to be magnetized, which is kind of crazy once you start thinking about it. Now I did go ahead and magnetize the shield bit right here. I think it's I forget exactly what this guy's called, but I went ahead and did that because I knew that this shared the polarity with my painted ones already from the Magnet Baron instructions. So that fits on there just fine. It just needs to be clipped in a little bit. Just need to leave the magnet laying out just a little bit. But again, it's literally the same bit. I mean, it's shocking how close they got this just from a couple pictures on Warhammer Community. And you know, for me, I mean, I already have all the knights. So like all I need is this right here. So why would I not buy this, print it out, paint it, and put it on my existing knights? I mean, I would be a fool not to, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because that's where I'm at as a hobbyist. But a lot of people might need the knights, and I get that, but I feel like this is the resistance that Games Workshop's gonna have when their releases consist of a new sprue that can be boiled down to 3 3D printed parts that cost me $8 for the STLs, you know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be a huge debate going forward in the hobby, and it's gonna be very interesting to kind of see how this all plays out overall. So here it is assembled, and as you can see, once you, well, pretty much magnetize everything, it's fully movable, and You can pull off the arms right here, switch out weapon fronts depending on how you want to do it. Everything is very easy to get in and out. Now, I only showed you how to do the new kit because we've already done, actually, I think 2 different videos on how to magnetize the rest of it when Canis Rex came out, and then of course the very first initial one. Actually, yeah, it's just 2. So check those out here on the channel if you're looking to see how to do the rest of it. And of course, you know, the Magnet Baron kits, if you want to go with that, has all the bits for everything, because now this kit comes with 7 different weapons, but technically there's 8 different combinations because of the Canis Rex weapons, right? So you've got, what is it, the Knight Warden, Knight Gallant, Knight Crusader, Knight Errant, Knight Paladin, and Knight Defender in the Questoris kit, which comprises 7 different weapons. And then you've got basically all those same ones minus the Knight Defender with the Canis Rex in the Canis Rex kit. And I blue tack these shoulder pads on here. So it's a lot to kind of remember, but you know, if you don't have any knights yet, well, then this is the perfect opportunity to pick up the ones you need. And if you do have all of these knights like me, and you've been building them for the past 10, 12 years, well, probably all you need is to figure out where these 3D printed bits are, you know, print them out for yourself, and then just upgrade your existing painted stuff right there, which I have no problem doing personally, because I paid the money for all these kits over the years. Yeah, they were cheaper, but hey, it is what it is. So that is actually, I think, the initial knights were $135, believe it or not, but it only made the Paladin and the Errant. Eventually the Gallant, Warden, and Crusader came out as 2 different kits, and then they combined them, and then we are off to the races with how Games Workshop could repack them. So that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed our unboxing and magnetizing / build rant about 3D printed parts of the new Knight Questoris kit containing the Knight Defender bits. Confused yet? Well, yeah, I am too, kind of, I suppose, at this point. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will try to get to everything there. And of course, there will be links to all of these upgrade kits, and our review article already has the link to these 3D printed parts in it already. So if it's still up, you know, if the link's still in there and it's still valid, well, you can check it out. If not, you can probably do a few internet searches to find them as well. Thanks for watching. Supporting us is super easy. Just click on the article links provided, subscribe, or follow us right here. And remember, next time you're searching for the best Warhammer news, type Spiky Bits into Google to get the most accurate info. See you in the next one.